Alexander the Great is remembered as one of history's greatest warriors, a fearless conqueror who led from the front and reshaped the ancient world. But what if I told you he had an older half-sister who was just as fierce, a warrior who fought on the front lines, commanded armies, and inspired both admiration and fear from those who dared to oppose her? She played the deadly game of Macedonian politics, navigating a treacherous world of ambition and betrayal, refusing to back down. This is the story of Cynane, the real warrior princess. History's most fascinating figures, part 36. Cynane was born in 357 BC to Philip II of Macedon and Adea of Illyria. Her parents' marriage was part of a diplomatic treaty between Macedon, a northern Hellenic or Greek kingdom, and Illyria, a powerful warrior kingdom centered around modern-day Albania, Montenegro, and parts of the Western Balkans. Philip II, a member of the Arrhidaeus dynasty, seized the throne in 359 BC by deposing his young nephew, Amyntas IV. Under his rule, Macedon rose from obscurity to become a dominant Hellenic power, thanks in part to his revolutionary Macedonian phalanx formation, a battle strategy later made famous by his son and Cynane's younger brother, Alexander III, better known as Alexander the Great. Cynane's mother, Adea, was an Illyrian princess and either the daughter or granddaughter of the Illyrian king Perdiccas. Although Cynane was a Macedonian princess, her mother, Adea, raised her in the Illyrian warrior tradition. Unlike Macedonian women, who were typically taught domestic skills, Illyrian women trained as warriors and often fought alongside men. While other princesses learned to manage households, Cynane was mastering horseback riding, swordsmanship, and battlefield tactics. From the start, Cynane embodied the strength of her parents. She was her mother's daughter and her father's daughter. Bold, ambitious, and destined to make her mark. By her teenage years, she was already renowned for her skill with the spear and sword, and a military strategist in the making. Cynane's warrior reputation wasn't just talk, it was earned on the battlefield. She fought on campaigns with the Macedonian army, serving on the front lines alongside her father, Philip II, her younger brother, Alexander, and many of his future generals and officers, including Perdiccas and his brother Alcetas. She even commanded armies in her own right. Cynane's most famous moment came around 343 BC, when she led the Macedonian army on a campaign in Illyria. According to ancient sources, during a battle, she personally killed the Illyrian queen Caria in single combat, single-handedly turning the tide of the battle. Her victory in Illyria cemented her reputation as the Macedonian Amazon, a title inspired by the legendary race of warrior women of Greek mythology, earning her both the admiration and fear of those around her. In 340 BC, Cynane married her cousin, Amyntas IV, in a union arranged by Philip II to strengthen ties within the Arrhidaeus dynasty. Cynane and Amyntas had a daughter named Adea, later known as Eurydice. Tragically, the marriage was short-lived. In 336 BC, Philip II was assassinated by his bodyguard Pausanias, plunging the Macedonian kingdom into a succession crisis. Cynane urged Amyntas to reclaim the throne Philip had taken from him more than 20 years earlier, but he refused, possibly fearing the rival claimants he would face. Unfortunately, his hesitation proved fatal. When Alexander seized the throne, he swiftly consolidated his position by eliminating all potential threats, including Amyntas. Even as a widow, Cynane's royal lineage and warrior reputation made her a potential threat to Alexander. To neutralize her, Alexander attempted to arrange a political marriage for her, but Cynane refused every offer he made. Eventually, Alexander promised her to Langarus, the king of the Agrianians, a Thracian tribe in what is now modern-day Bulgaria. However, shortly before the wedding, Langarus mysteriously died. While there is no definitive evidence, many speculate Cynane may have poisoned him. After Langarus's death, Cynane remained unmarried as Alexander turned his attention to conquering Persia. While Alexander embarked on his legendary campaigns, Cynane stayed in Macedon, raising Adea with the same Illyrian warrior education her mother had given her. For the next 12 years, Cynane trained Adea in the art of war. Little did they know, events in the east would soon plunge the Hellenistic world into chaos, offering the warrior princess an opportunity to reassert her influence. In 323 BC, Alexander the Great died unexpectedly in Babylon, leaving behind a vast empire with no clear heir. His sudden death plunged the Hellenistic world into chaos, igniting a power struggle among his generals, known as the Diadochi, over who would succeed him. After heated debates, they agreed that Alexander's older half-brother, Arrhidaeus, despite his perceived learning disability, would rule as Philip III Arrhidaeus, alongside Alexander's unborn child, if it was a son, with Perdiccas serving as regent. Amid the chaos, Cynane saw her chance to act. Recognizing an opportunity to secure her daughter's future, Cynane took bold action. She arranged for her daughter Adea to marry Philip III Arrhidaeus, a move that would make Adea queen and give Cynane significant influence over Macedonian politics. To ensure the marriage's success, Cynane mobilized her army and began marching toward Babylon. However, this plan drew the ire of Perdiccas, who saw Cynane as a significant threat to the fragile balance of power in the empire. To stop her, Perdiccas sent Antipater, one of Alexander's Diadochi and the regent of Macedon, to intercept her forces. The two armies clashed at Strymon, where Cynane and her troops emerged victorious, once again proving that she was still the warrior princess of her youth. Realizing the true gravity of the situation, Perdiccas sent another army, this time led by his brother Alcetas, to stop Cynane. Since Alcetas and Cynane had been companions in their youth, Perdiccas assumed that the sight of Alcetas would dissuade Cynane from her plans and convince her to return to Macedon. Tragically, this would not be the case. As Cynane and her army passed through the Hellespont, modern-day Dardanelles, they encountered Alcetas and his forces. According to the historian Polyaenus, the Macedonian soldiers initially hesitated at the sight of Cynane, the daughter of Philip II and sister of Alexander the Great. Undaunted by the size of Alcetas's army or his formidable preparations for battle, Cynane stood her ground, resolving that she would rather face a glorious death than accept a private life unworthy of her royal lineage. She confronted Alcetas head-on. As Cynane berated him in full view of everyone, Alcetas decided he had had enough. He drew his sword and struck her down mid-speech, killing Cynane on the spot. When Cynane fell, both armies looked on in shock and horror. The soldiers held great respect for her, not only as a warrior princess, but as a direct link to Philip II and Alexander the Great. Enraged by Alcetas's actions, the troops from both sides demanded that her final wishes be honored. They insisted that Adea be escorted to marry Philip III Arrhidaeus as Cynane had planned. Fearing mutiny, Perdiccas relented and the marriage proceeded. Adea, now known as Eurydice, became queen, ensuring that Cynane's death was not in vain. Cynane wasn't just Alexander's sister. She was a warrior, a queen-maker, and a legend in her own right. Her life was a testament to courage, resilience, and defiance. She fought on the front lines, navigated the treacherous world of Macedonian politics, and ensured her daughter's rise to power. Though overshadowed by her brother Alexander's conquests, Cynane's legacy endures. Her actions reshaped the political landscape of Macedon and defied the norms of her time. The daughter of a king, the sister of a conqueror, and the mother of a queen, Cynane, the warrior princess, earned her rightful place in history. As always, don't forget to like and hit that subscribe button. Your support helps this channel grow, allowing us to bring you even more incredible stories. If you enjoyed this video, we release new episodes weekly, so click the bell icon so you never miss a future video. This is UnRecalled History. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.